just know that there's certain things that the federal law or the federal courts have exclusive jurisdiction over. The second method of getting into federal court is through diversity of citizenship jurisdiction. This is for civil cases only. That means these are the cases that involve personal injury, contracts, civil cases where you get monetary damages. It has to be a civil case where you have parties that are citizens of different states. Citizens or residents of different states. And the amount claimed is over $75,000. The parties the party bringing the action may bring it to federal court. You must have both those requirements. The amount of controversy must be more than $75,000, and both parties and all parties involved must be from different jurisdictions. Let me give you an example of this for a minute. The most simple example: you have one plaintiff, one defendant. You have, in the example I gave, I have the North Carolina resident and I'm the Florida resident. Okay, I want to sue. My damages are $75,000 or more. I can bring that action in the federal district court, federal circuit court of in the district court in the Southern District of Miami against this person, and the court will have jurisdiction over it. But you must have both. Now let's give another example. What if you have two plaintiffs, both from North Carolina, and they want to sue one defendant from Florida, and the other defendant is also from North Carolina? Okay? No diversity of citizenship. Why? Because all the plaintiffs and all the defendants have to be from different states. In this case, you have the two plaintiffs from North Carolina, and you have one defendant from Florida, but the other defendants from North Carolina. There's not total diversity, and therefore you cannot bring it in federal court. Okay? I would normally ask for questions on this, but if you don't understand that, make sure you ask me that question on the discussion board. Now, if you have the factors that you could bring in the action in federal court, you're not precluded from bringing it in state court as well, because state court would have jurisdiction as well. This is called concurrent jurisdiction. You could bring the action either in federal court under the circumstances for diversity of citizenship, or bring it in the appropriate state court. And if the case actually goes to federal court, the federal court will be applying state law to the case. You might be asking, well, wait, I don't understand. Why would the federal court be applying state law? Well, in a diversity of citizenship action, it still involves a state matter, but the court only has jurisdiction because the citizen's a different state. There's no, in the personal injury action I had, the lady, say somebody hit me, I won't say lady, a person hit me and injured me when I was in North Carolina. Now I'm a resident of Florida. Okay? The law that would apply is not federal law, because it was not a federal. It's not a federal act. It's not. There's no federal traffic type of laws that would cover that. It would be state law, state negligence laws, the specific state, North Carolina. So I would have to go to federal court, and the judge would have to apply North Carolina law to determine the case. And it would have to give instructions based upon North Carolina law. Now, maybe that sounds a little bit crazy, it sounds a little bit confusing, but the court doesn't always apply federal law to their cases. Sometimes they're deciding state law cases based upon some type of federal questions, They have to look at the state statute. Again, most of the time in these cases, a person will not bring the action in federal court. They'll go to the appropriate state court because the state judges know the law better than the federal judge knows the state law normally. But sometimes it helps out to go into federal law, especially if you're trying to get the defendant to resolve a big case, because federal law is more stringent in terms of their structure, in terms of their procedures, than state law. And most of the time the judges are more knowledgeable. Here's one. To give some examples. John Doe wants to challenge the Internal Revenue Service on a tax assessment made against him. State or federal, or why? And you could probably guess that this would be a federal law because it involves the Internal Revenue Service. Another example, Mary Smith, a resident of the state of California, files a lawsuit for personal injury from a car accident against Bob Brown, a resident of California. She is claiming $1 million in damages. State or federal, and why? Okay, so we have a resident of California bringing action against another resident of California. Do we have diversity of citizenship? No. So even if we have over $1 million in damages, no diversity of citizenship, you need both. Therefore, you have to go to state court. Now, let's take it a little bit differently. Mary Brown, a resident of Florida, files breach of contract against Bernie Madoff, a resident of New York State, for $100,000. State or federal? You have a resident of Florida and a resident of New York. If you say federal, you're right. If you say state, you're right. The answer is you can bring it in either one, state or federal court. Remember, we said concurrent jurisdiction. They have the choice. If they want to bring it into state court, they can. But since it's diversity of citizenship and it's over $75,000, they could also bring it into federal court. Concurrent jurisdiction.